Hey everyone, welcome back to another Web Dev Junkie video. My name is Cody Seibert, and in this video, I'm going to try to build a text editor using Electron and some vanilla JS. So if that's something that you're interested in watching, be sure to stick around and watch this video. If you don't know what Electron is, it's basically a framework that you can wrap your website with. Like, you know how you build a website with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? Basically, it's just a framework for packaging all that together. And making that into an installable file like an MSI or a DMG if you're using Mac. And the user can install it and basically have a native app on their computer that they can double click on like a desktop icon and actually start using your application. So it is a way to build native applications. If I were to sum it up in one sentence, that is the summation. So they have a lot of information on their docs. So I'm just going to touch on some of the stuff and see what I can do. Let's just dive into creating your first app. This is going to be like a learn with me video. So I have some music going. I'm just trying to read through the docs and build something simple for you all. And maybe you can learn as I go through this as well. So yeah, so writing your first Electron app. Maybe that's too small. Let me zoom in a little bit. So it allows you to build desktop applications with pure JavaScript, blah, blah, blah. So basically you can access like your file system inside your JavaScript application and native application. You can access like nodes FS. You can access other things that, I don't know what else, probably everything, but let's just try to follow this tutorial and get started. I'm going to say npm init, and that should create us a npm package with some stuff in it, and it says that we need to go in here and specify a main, which main.js here. So let us just go and keep going. So blah blah blah. By default, npm start would run the main node script. In order to make it run with Electron, you can add a start script. So inside that scripts property, I'm going to replace this with start, and it's going to do electron dot. So we need to run this next command, which is basically installing the Electron package. So I'll run that. That should install. Let's see. Yeah, so let's just make a main.js because that's what it says that you need to do. And that is going to be basically pointing to that main that was described as a property in your package JSON. So main.js is going to point to our main.js file. And this is kind of where you write your Electron code, it seems. So let's just go ahead and copy that here. There's a copy button. I should just click that from now on. And we'll just kind of copy all this code. Why not? So let's do that. I don't like comments. I like to delete them. It's kind of obvious what this is doing. So this makes a new browser window with a width and a height. And node integration true basically allows you to run node commands inside of your renderer.js. So if we were to run this, it would probably fail because it looks like it's trying to load a file called index.html. So let us go ahead and create one. So index.html, and just make a default HTML structure here. I'll call it text editor. How about that? So I think the way Electron works is your index file is just basically going to work like any other index file. You have scripts that you can include. So let's just pretend there's a script here, and it's going to be called index.js. One video or blog I was reading, they call this a renderer, but I'm just going to call it index.js. So index.js and console log. Hello. This is just to see if this works when we run it. So let's just do this. And I think at this point, if I just run this, it should work maybe. I could be jumping the gun. npm run start. Let's see what happens. All right, so we have a little Electron. Oops, I didn't want to do that. So we have an Electron window open where you can start doing stuff inside here. So basically everything that's inside of this little window is your index file. So for example, if I go here and type in like hello world and save it, And unfortunately, I have to rerun this to see the results. So you can see it's just index. So it's just whatever's in your index file and your CSS and whatnot. So additionally, I could run a style sheet here. I can say body background color is black maybe, and then the text color is white. And then make sure I import that. So I could say link href or link CSS, is that what it is? Yeah, style CSS. All right, so one thing that's really annoying with Electron is you have to keep on refreshing and closing this. So I found a plugin. Let's see if I can find this. Load. So I mean, I have been messing around with Electron, so there's a lot of stuff I've already found along the way. So if you install this package, Electron Reload, that is going to be pretty much give you a library that you can call to just reload Electron as you change stuff. So if you follow this tutorial here, they basically say just add this line inside of your main.js. So I'll do that here. And whenever you change any file inside this dir name, it's going to restart your Electron app. So let me just run my Electron app again. And let's verify that. So if I add an exclamation save, notice that it shows up here. Cool. So nice little thing. I don't know if there's a better way to like refresh or restart your Electron app, but that is one way. Let's just keep moving through this. So they give us code of how to set up your Electron app, how to build your actual like index file and make it display something. Let's move on and keep going. So this is important, open DevTools. So when your Electron app first loads, without the DevTools, you don't really have a good way to like verify anything. So Electron could not be found, no hard resets for you. So I think unfortunately, if you change this main.js, it's not going to refresh your Electron app. You actually need to like restart it. But if you change any of your dependencies like index HTML, your CSS, JavaScript, or whatever, then it will refresh your app. So we added this window web contents open DevTools, and that basically is going to target this window instance and open the DevTools. So you can see here, it's just like a normal DevTools, nothing too special. Get some security warnings that we might address later, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's keep going. On Mac OS, it is common to recreate a window in the app when the dock icon is clicked. So we're not using Mac in this example. I'm on Windows, so I'm just going to kind of ignore these two things. This one, I guess you might want to add it because I guess it doesn't close even if you close the window. So if you're not on Mac, close the app. So let me save that. We're going to use that. Yeah, so I mean, that was really easy to get going. I mean, you can read through the docs more to get a better understanding. I'm not going to dive too much into it. There is a security risk with having this set to true. Just keep that in mind. But we're going to keep it true just because we like to live on the edge on this channel. Yeah, so what are we trying to build? We're trying to build a really basic text editor. So in order to build a text editor, you basically need the ability to like open a file, and then your app or native app would like display the contents of that file, and then you can edit it, whatnot, and then you should be able to save that file back to your file system. So that's what we're going to try to build in this little Learn With Me tutorial video. And we will see how well that is, how easy it is to make. So okay, so as I said, because we have node integration true, anywhere in our JavaScript, we can actually start requiring stuff. So up here, I can say const fs is equal to require fs. So that'll require or bring in the node's file system package, and I can actually start writing stuff to the file system or reading stuff from the file system. And we'll use that in a second probably. But what I want to do is I want to be able to basically, when the app loads, I want to be able to say file open. Okay, so let's try to figure out a way to add a menu icon for opening a file. Let me go back to guides. I'm sure there's a way to do menu. Okay, well. So they have menu item, all this stuff to explain what a menu item is. Let me go back to docs. Okay, here's an example. I always scroll to the code examples because that's the way I do development. Like, and then I go back to the API if I need to have a better understanding of what's going on. So it looks like inside main.js, you can define a menu. So let's just go ahead and bring in menu here. So menu. And then we can create a template array. So let's just make an array. And inside that template array, I think you can start declaring your menu objects. So I could say, give me an object. The label is going to be file. I think it's capitalized on Windows. So I'll do file. And then instead of, let's see what else they do here. So they have submenus. So if I wanted file to be like the main thing up here, I want a submenu, which is going to have a label of open file. And if you click it, they have a click property here. So if you click it, we're going to do something. I'm not sure what we're going to do, but let's just log something. All right, let's go back. We probably need to restart to get this working. And the last steps is, looks like you just need to pass that. So you build your menu from a template, which we have defined here. Oops. And then you say menu.application menu. So let's see how well that works. And I just closed out of Electron, so I need to restart it. Alright, so you see up here we have a file in the menu, and we have open file. And when I click it, it prints out opened. So that was pretty easy. The hardest part was figuring out where to go in these docs to find example codes. But we found it. All right, so next let's try to figure out how we can prompt the user to select a file. And I don't know how to do that, but I'm assuming when you click on this open file, we want to present like the native file browser that's on Windows or Mac and kind of show that to the user. So I'm not sure how to do that. Let's see, upload a file maybe. Yeah, I don't know if that helps us. Native file drag and drop representing a file for Mac browser Windows. Adding, let's see. I don't want drag and drop. You know what? So if second thing you can do is search for file. Maybe that's when the user wants to open a file with the application. Makes me think there's a way to say open file. Let's see what this tells us. Following example shows how to quit the application when the last window is closed. Okay. Open item, show open. No clue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to resort to Stack Overflow, open file in Electron. Probably super easy, but the docs, you know, the docs aren't the best when you have to search like Overflow for an answer. Like I should have been able to say open file and it showed me like one of the first couple options just said how to, what's this? Yeah, I don't know. Open a file. Open item file path shell Electron. You can open a file or folder through the shell commands from the Electron module. The commands work from both main and renderer processes. Alright, so if I just include this in my renderer and I say open item, show item in folder file path. Open the folder and select the, it looks like there's another way to do it too. Show item in folder. That one might make more sense because we want to maybe open this. Oh wow, look at that. So it loaded up the exact folder that I'm actually in, which is my YouTube folder. So that was pretty cool. So what we want to do actually is when you click on this, I don't know why I put it in my renderer, we want to probably open a file. So I'm going to say shell. I'll take this out, do this. Cool, so let's go back to Electron, and I'll say file, file, and because it's in our main, I'm going to assume we have to restart our app. If anyone knows a workaround for this, you let me know, because I'm not sure what the workaround is. Alright, file, open file, boom, we get a file browser. And I think what we want to do is when someone selects a file, oh wow, that's not what we want. That just opens up the Explorer. That's definitely not what we want. You can use the dialog module from the Electron package. So I think we went down the wrong path. I think this guy is pointing us to a better dialog example. Show open dialog. Let's try doing this instead. So I don't know why he's doing a console log. Maybe it just prints out the file that you selected. Yikes. Overwrite that. Multi-selections. Do we want multi-selections? Probably not. We just want one file. Let's try again. So open a file. We get a file browser. We select style CSS. And it looks like that is console logging a promise. So what we probably want to do is we want to make async. We could probably say const file is equal to await this and console log that file. I might have to do promise chaining. I don't know if this is going to be like a blocking process, so let's try it out. I clicked it. Now when I click style CSS, we get back this object that has file paths in it, and we get the path to our file. So since we don't have multi-select, you can only select one. What we're going to do here is I'm going to grab out file paths, and then I'm going to say const file is equal to the first file path. And yeah, this is so frustrating. I have to keep on restarting this, so but whatever. All right, so we got the full path to our styles file to open. And what we want to do is we want to read that file contents in and display it somewhere on the page, right? So we should probably have a text area here that we display the file contents. So, okay, kind of getting ahead of myself. The first thing we want to do is load in the file. Okay, so we need to probably bring in the fs package from node. And that should give us access to reading the file. So I could say fs read file sync, give the path to the file. I'm going to say UTF-8, and I'll say contents. And let's just print that out and make sure this works. Okay, so you see here we actually have that style sheet printed out. So that's pretty cool. So the next step is we want to tell our renderer that, hey, we got a file. You need to display the contents. So one thing you can do is like the main JS and the index JS are kind of isolated. So in order for them to talk to each other, you have to do something called IPC. So let me load up IPC. All right, so what we can do is, I don't know what you can do. IPC. We want to basically tell the renderer that we have some contents. I might need to Google this. Wait. It's also possible to send messages from the main process to the render process. See web content send for more information. Okay, so I think I could actually do win.webcontents. Now, unfortunately, all of this is happening in this async function that's like up here, and we don't have access to win. So what I could do is maybe say let win. This is kind of hacky, but hey, if it works, it works. So assume the window's open, so you should be able to access that. So I can say win.webcontents.send, and I want to send a message that says like file, and I'll send contents. How about that? So let's see what happens if we do this. Now in our renderer, we need to import a IPC renderer from Electron. And we can say IPC renderer.on file. We got a callback with an event and the contents, I believe. And we could probably just console log that. We got some content. Let me get rid of hello here. Let me restart our Electron app and see how this works. So now select the file and click it. It didn't do anything. IPC renderer on event and args. Okay, so I need to Google this. Sending event to renderer Electron. I'm pretty sure I'm doing it right, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Definitely want Stack Overflow, so let's check this out. They are saying to send a message back to the renderer, you would use web content send. Yeah, so I'm doing it right, but it's just, I must be doing something wrong. Let's just restart it one more time. Maybe I didn't save the file. You know, I think the issue was it would have printed out the contents inside of my DevTools. I think that's what's wrong. The yep. All right, so the issue is you have to remember that the index file is your renderer, so everything that's console log there is going to go in your dev. And the main, everything that you console log is going to go down here in your terminal. So it's kind of confusing, keep that in mind. But we got the contents now. So what we want to do is we want to display the contents somewhere on the page. So let's just assume that instead of hello world here, we have text area, and the ID is called code. Not text area. Okay, so you know vanilla.js is pretty straightforward to render contents there. I could say document.query selector. Nope, I could say get element by ID, code, and then I could say enter. You know, actually it's a value, so I think I could just say content. Let's save this and let's see what happens. Now, luckily, we didn't change main at all, so we should just be able to use that refresh page. Awesome. So you see here, we got our code. And one thing I'll say is that the text area is really small. So I'm going to say height of 400 pixels and width of like 200 pixels. And I'll do more than that. 300 pixels. I'll do more than that. Let me just center it really quick. That's not how you center it. So we got some text. And okay, so I think that's good enough. I mean, you could obviously put this in a pre-tag and style it with like some type of code library, but this is good enough. You got a text area, you can change stuff around, you can edit stuff. Now the next step is we probably want to be able to save our file, okay? So once you've opened a file, we probably want to have the ability to save a file. Let's add another submenu called save. So save file, and when you click it, you probably want to do something else. And what we also probably want to do is display what file we have open. So let's just send a message called file name. And I'll just pass the entire path. I'll just say file path. How about that? I'm thinking out loud here. I think it'd be better if you just send the entire package together. So I'm going to say file opened. And I'm going to pass an object that has the contents of the file, and it also has the actual file path. All right, so let's do that. And then we got to do some here. So on file opened, we get back content. Oh, and we also get back file path. Okay. So content and contents. I named it contents. All right, so let me read the contents. Content. And we also want to display the file path. So here I could put a H3 maybe? Who knows? Who cares? I'll put an H3 and I will just call this file path. Is that good enough for you all? Works for me. And we want to basically get that file path and set that value to file path. All right, so I did change the main JS, so I need to restart my editor here, and I can open a file, and we're supposed to display something here, but it doesn't seem like it's being displayed. File hyphen path H3 with an ID of file hyphen path. Oh, it wouldn't be value, it would be you could do inner text maybe. That should work. But now I got to reopen the file, so let's do this. Boom. Pretty slick. So now we need the ability to save the file. So when you are typing into this and you click on save file, we probably want to ask the renderer what value do you have in the text area and send that back. That's one approach. The other approach is just tell the renderer to write to the file. They could just do that too. Who cares? I'm going to say basically do this. Save file. Send that to the renderer, tell it to save, and at this point the render should know what it needs to save because we have the path, right? So I'll go to the renderer and I'm going to cache that stuff. So I'm going to say let file path and const. I guess we don't need the contents. So I'm going to keep track of the file path. This is kind of overloading here, so I'll say opened file path. How about that? Does that make more sense? So now when I open a file, we're keeping track of what file we have opened, and then what we want to do is basically when we get a save file event, we could write it to the disk. So what I'm going to do here is basically fs, so I can start writing stuff to the disk. And all I want to do is I want to get the current contents or the current value of the text area. So I can say const current code value is equal to document.get element by ID. And I can say value. So that will give us the current value of our code element. I'm going to extract these just so it's cleaner, because whenever you duplicate stuff, code elm. Let me do this. All right, so yeah, we want to rewrite that contents back to the file that we have. So I'm gonna say fs write file sync. We know what the opened file path is, and we know what the contents are, so current code value, and the format could be UTF-8. So let's try this out. Let's see if this works. So I'm gonna open a file, and I'm open style CSS, and I will add, I'll change the text area to 200. Sorry, 200 for the height. And let's save it and see what happens. It didn't do anything. And I'm going to assume that I probably need to restart my Electron app. So let's just do that. Let's try it again. Open up the text file. Change this to 200. Save the file. So if I open style CSS, notice that it actually did update. It changed. But unfortunately, we changed the text of a file that the Electron reload is watching. So the moment it changed, it restarted our Electron app. So I think a better approach would probably be to open a file that's not currently in the same directory. So I'm going to go up a level. Here, I'll just go here and make a new file. What is up? What is up text? So I'll open up that what is up text. And I'm going to open up over here too. Where did I put that? Here we go. Hi there. My name is Cody. This is a cool Electron app tutorial video. All right, so I typed some stuff in, and if I save this file, see that it wrote the file contents to the disk. So pretty cool. Now, one thing I think I should do is there's probably a way to gray out save file unless you have actually selected a file. You know what? I'm just gonna use Google. Like, I find it easier to just find the answers in Google. Disable menu item Electron. Menu item enabled false. All right, so it looks like we could probably just dynamically change the submenu item. I don't really know. You know what? Let me menu item. Let's see. Enabled. If false, the menu item will be grayed out and unclickable. So I don't know if I can just change it or if I have to like call a refresh. Electron dynamically disable menu item stack overflow. So it looks like you can, let's see, I fixed this by setting an ID to the menu item. Get menu items, my item. Ah, okay. I guess I can just do save file. And then when I want to disable it, I can just grab it and set it enabled to false. So by default, enabled is false. And then what we probably want to do is when you open the file, so down here, you can just set it to save file. Set it to true. Let us give that a whirl. All right, let's try it again. Open this up. I don't, you know, I didn't even check if it was disabled or not. Oops. All right, so save is disabled. And when I open a file, it's now enabled. So that's exactly what we want. It's still working, so that's cool. Next thing I want to do is I want to add a hotkey. So I want to do Control S, save and open. So let's figure out how to do that. Maybe there's a hotkey. Key. How do I use the accelerator to call a menu item in context? You know, it might be called shortcut. Shortcut. Don't know. The Stack Overflow Electron shortcut. Well, let's try going to the docs. Maybe there's something shortcut. Keyboard shortcuts. Here we go. You can use the menu module to configure keyboard shortcuts that will be triggered only when the app is focused. To do so, specify an accelerator property when creating a menu item. So I could just specify. That's cool. I could do Command or Control P. I just want Control S. So let us try that. And then same with open file. I'll do Control O. And restart my app. Control O, opened it up. So I'm going to open up my what is up text, type some stuff, save it. And let's open that what is up. So as I add exclamation marks and save. Cool, so my hotkeys, my shortcuts are working. You can see those are displayed over here. Hints. I think that's it. We did a little text editor. And what we probably want to do is style this up a little bit and make it a little bit prettier. So I could make a style called center and basically just say let's display flex, and I think it's align contents center and justify contents center. Another thing is if you don't have an item open, if you don't have a file open, we probably don't display it. So let us go and hide this text area. So if I go to my style sheet, I'm going to say display is none. And when we actually open a file, we could get the code elm and say style.display block. So hopefully this works. Boom. All right. Now, it's not centered yet. I could probably do a text align centered actually, instead of doing this stuff. Let me just try this. Text align center. You know, this is just so much easier. I'll just put it on the... No, I don't want to put on that. I'm kind of changing my mind as I'm doing this stuff. So at this point, let's just look at the element and see what we can add to it. So obviously the H3, we could easily just text align center that. Now the text area though, you can't just text align that. You could probably make this an inline block and text align center that. Nope, because that's going to align the text. So I think what we want to do is on the body text align center. Okay, so I'm going to say display for body text align center. This is just hacky, just to get it to work. There's 100 ways you can do this, and I'm sure you can think of better ways. But all I want to do is just make this display inline block dynamically. So I open up a file, boom, we have the path here, and we're good to go. And if I close the dev tools, it's still centered. That's about it. I mean, if you all can think of some more stuff that I could kind of demo with this, but I think, I don't even know how long this video was, probably not that long, but we managed to cover quite a bit of stuff doing a simple little text editor where you can open a file, you can save a file, you can change the text, and it's all in vanilla JS. So this Electron is pretty cool. People complain that the size of your Electron app is big, and that's probably true. You know what? This isn't the end of the app. I totally forgot there's a way to bundle stuff. So once you've built your application, you obviously want to be able to bundle it and send off the DMG or the MSI to people to be able to install your app. So let us install something called Electron Builder. So I'm going to go ahead and Google that. Let's copy this and run it. I think by default, when you do npm install now, it saves it to your package.json. It's never save, but I think it'll save it for you. All right, let's see if their docs are any good. So it says you basically need to have name, description, and version. Do we really though? Let's just skip that part and see if it works. All right, so let's put a build. I don't have an app ID and I don't have a category, so I think I could just leave those blank. You can add some icons, so that's basically what your Electron app looks like on your desktop or your, if you're on Mac, your bar down there. I guess on Windows, the bar down here too. But it looks like you can put these two scripts inside of your scripts tag. Let's do that. And I think I could just literally say npm run dist. Let me read this, make sure I know what I'm doing. Pack versus dist. I don't know what the difference is because they don't even explain it. Or do they? You can run yarn dist to package in a distributable format, DMG, Windows deb package, or yarn pack only during the package directory without really packaging it. This is useful for testing purposes. So I want the actual distribution so I can show you how to install it. So I'm going to do npm run. Why did it crash? Electron Builder is only allowed in dev dependencies. Okay, so I installed it in the wrong thing. I feel like Electron needs to be a real dependency, maybe. Who knows? Try it again. All right, what's it complaining about? Okay, it's saying Electron can only be a dev dependency. All right, third time's the charm. Let's try it again. So at this point, it's probably packaging my app and building up something I can use to install it. I'm not sure how long this will take. All right, well, while this is running, let's talk about something. What can we talk about? I'm sure there's a lot of other cool stuff you can probably do with Electron. Yo, is this really still installing? This takes a while, huh? Release notes, docs, Electron Forge. So there's, okay, so if you are, oh, what happened here? I think that's just me typing in because I was getting impatient. So it looks like once this is done, I wonder if I can do open. All right, so we get a dist folder and we can, I think we can run it like this. So there's an installable here. I think this is like your setup. So let's just run this and see what happens. You notice here it's 50 megabytes. So for that teeny little app that we built, unfortunately, you're going to be packaged with Chromium and also cannot find module Electron reload. Okay. npm install save. Wait, does that need to be a dependency maybe? Uh-oh, I screwed up, folks. Let me rerun this and see if that fixes it. I really don't know what needs to be a dev dependency and what doesn't. But I guess anything outside of Electron should probably be a real dependency. Because it was complaining that I can't find Electron reload, so... Alright, let's try it again. Let's try rebuilding this and see if we can get it to work. Anyway, as I was talking, if you're trying to build like a full-fledged real Electron app, then I probably recommend checking out this Electron React boilerplate. This has like all the stuff you need to kind of build a React app with Redux and React Router, TypeScript as well. But if you're just trying to learn, I would suggest just doing what I'm doing. Just start from scratch, try to do a simple vanilla JS app, and keep adding on to it, because this boilerplate has a ton of stuff and a lot of files and a lot of confusing stuff, where if you're a beginner, you're going to get overwhelmed. There's probably other generators as well, like you can use Electron with Vue, you can use it with Angular. All right, looks like it's done. Let's try this one more time. Let's run the setup. Electron text editor is running. Click OK to close it. All right, so just installing my little app, and then it runs my app, and you can see down here we get an icon, and I don't even know what it installed it as. It installed it as Electron text editor. I'm sure there's a way to specify like a real name. I think it's just taking this. I could probably call this something awesome and it would package it with that. But anyway, this is the actual, oh gosh, my dev tools are still on. So you would probably want to conditionally run this open DevTools line so that it doesn't open your DevTools on your production build. Let's just pretend that I did that. So this is the app. This is the fully running app. I can open up a file, open up my what is up text. I can save it. Boom. So you have a fully functioning Electron app that you can use to edit and save a text file or whatever you want. I showed you how to use a package called Electron Builder to bundle up your app and create some installable files where you can give this exe to anyone who's using Windows and they can install my app and start using it. And I think if you want to build like the Mac stuff, you probably have to be on a Mac. And Linux, you probably need to be on a Linux. I don't know if there's a way to build all at the same time. I'm going to assume you have to be on a Mac to build for Mac. But yeah. If you have any comments, questions, concerns about this video, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. Give me a thumbs up if you thought this tutorial was useful. And also give me some feedback. If there's anything that you know that I don't in terms of Electron and how to build cool Electron apps, let me know. I only know the surface. I only know a high-level overview of Electron. And what I just demoed to you is basically the extent of my knowledge. And most of everything else, I'm probably going to be reading through docs to learn. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. This is a Web Dev Junkie video. My name is Cody Seibert, and be sure to subscribe and click that like button. Happy coding!